Okay, Tom, we're here at what has been your family's restaurant now for 50 years. Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Well, never had aspirations of being in the restaurant business, and then my parents bought this place in 1971, 50 years ago, and they got really tired of having a restaurant really quickly, and with turnover in employees and everything, they were used to people that came and worked for them, till they died, and the restaurant wasn't quite that way. So anyway, they bought the place, got tired of it, so Chris and I, my wife at the time, Pal Barker's daughter, took the restaurant over, and Pal was sort of a guiding force with us because he had the always dinner theater in Scobie's, and Pal's was just, still sort of in its infancy. So he was a great inspiration for us, and we just got excited about it, and he kept us motivated and took us on trips. And we went to the restaurant convention in Chicago and learned a lot and traveled, and so we just kept building it. And eventually she and I started catering in 1979, and screwed up our first real big party that we had. It was for the city of Kingsport, and it was messed up. We were very late with the food, everything. It was just, I wanted to crawl under the floor and hide, but I couldn't, so I had to get the brunt of the anger of the guy that was in charge. But we learned a lot from that.
And you obviously went on and became very successful because now your catering business is the longest open catering service in Kingsport or the area?
The whole area, as far as I know. I don't think anybody else has been catering as long as we have.
And you went on from that to do one of your biggest events, which was how many people and where?
5,000 people at Gray Fairgrounds in one afternoon. And in fact, we did 5,000 there, and we did 500 at the hospital for the people that couldn't leave work. So it was two parties at the same time, actually.
Well, speaking of multiple parties at the same time, you've also gotten quite a bit of wedding business experience over the years. And
we have. I was scared to death of weddings and brides moms. I was terrified. I didn't want to do them. And my son Jonathan was here working with us then. He's with Chop House now, but he was working here, and he started doing weddings, and he wasn't afraid of them, and that got us going. And then we just built our confidence up. But I just did not want to do weddings at that point. But now it's just like, we've done 5 in one Saturday evening one time. We don't do that much now. We do maybe 2 or sometimes 3, but 5 was a little much. But we pulled them all off and had 5 happy brides and brides' moms.
And you also, along the way, another thing you put in the business to help it grow and succeed and carry on is the hams.
We were totally, completely blessed. It took 2 years to develop the hams, and I was so determined. I was just driven to do hams, and I guess the drive and the perseverance paid off, and then some blessings from up above on me seeing and learning things that I had not expected to learn, and it changed my life. It changed my life. The hams have been very successful. We've been totally, completely blessed to have that business, and we're locally, regionally famous for them now. Everybody knows Pratt's hams at the holidays, and they're not cheap, and they're getting worse with the cost right now of everything. But people just when they come in, they want a ham, they want a Pratt's ham, and they don't really care what it costs. And so that's been a really good thing for all of us.
Tell me a little bit about your employees and how long you've had some of them.
We've got our separate catering kitchen, which is also our commissary for the restaurant. They produce a lot of the food down in catering, which is on the lower level, and they produce a lot of the food for the restaurant because they've got all the equipment to do bulk cooking down there. And so anyway, I've had 3 employees down there that have been here a combination of almost 90 years, and that's been a true gift. I don't even have to worry about them or what they do. They'll come in anytime, they get it done, and they're just, it's just been really great to have those people. And then we've got people in the restaurant that have been here. Karen's been here 30 or 20 years, and one of the servers, Rachel's been here like 10 years, and we just have good people, and we try to treat them good. I mean, we're respectful, and we love them, and we treat them like family because they really are family. Most of them are like me; they spend more time here than they do at home, and so you get close with people. And I still need to do more for them, but I love them all, and I care for them, and I think they care about me. And when I was in the hospital with my back surgery and I was out of work for 6 weeks, I didn't lose a single person. They were all still here when I got back, and I really let them know how much I appreciated that. We didn't have to worry about trying to hire and train and all that when I wasn't here. So we've got a good staff, and probably right now better than any restaurant around, because I hear a lot of people are short of help, and we're not. We just got 2 people back that we never really expected to get back, but one of them came back to Kingsport. First thing he did was come here. He wanted to be back here with us. Felt like it was family and home.
What about your customer base?
We've had customers, well, we've been here 50 years, so we've had customers over the years that obviously have passed away, but we still have our regulars that come. I had a board that I made called Country Cousins back in the 70s, and I looked at that the other day, and most of those people are not with us anymore. But they were great customers back then, and it's sad, but it's just the way it is. But we're really blessed with good customers, and they come back and they come back again, and that's what we try to do, is give them a good customer experience. I'm really on my greeters about first thing you do when you come in is you get greeted, and that's, if I'm walking through and there's not a greeter up there, then I do it myself, and I take them to their table and get them seated and talk to them, and I try to build a rapport. I don't know a lot of the customers anymore because I've cut back a little bit on being out front in the limelight like I used to be there all the time, but I'm still here every day pretty much. And,
speaking of greeters and being out front in the limelight, I think your best, longest serving, maybe, quote, employee is the big Indian out front.
He's been here since before we were. He's been through a lot, and his loincloth has fallen a couple of times, not recently. We've gotten phone calls that the Indian was showing himself too much, and then the most recent tragic thing was when his head fell off. Or it fell down, it didn't fall off. And so we had to get a new mold. We found a guy in way up in Virginia. I can't remember the city, but anyway, he saw on Facebook, because it had so much coverage, he saw on Facebook that the Indian needed attention, and he was into fiberglass work. So he came down and he said, "I can fix your Indian," and we believed him, and we looked at his work and got him, and he fixed it. It took a little while, but he made a mold with the old Indian head, which hadn't completely fallen. It was just bent over, and his chin was stuck in his chest. And so he did a mold with that and made the new head exactly like the old head, except we splurged a little bit and got him a full headdress instead of just 2 feathers. So we thought, well, let's go for it. He's been there long enough. He deserved to be a chief. So we fixed him up.
And you've got the old head in here.
In the dining room, yeah, we do. Got it painted. But we were lucky it didn't fall and hurt somebody or disintegrate. And that thing weighed about 120 pounds, he said. And the new one weighs less than 30 pounds.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us. Any final words for the people of Kingsport?
I'm just thankful to everybody in Kingsport for supporting us all these years. And we're probably the longest running restaurant and the longest running caterer in here, and it's taken good employees and great customers and a lot of work. I mean, we've all, like all restaurants and businesses, you have your stressful moments, but we've survived everything, and we've persevered. So I'm thankful that the customers keep us going, because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be here. And as you and I were talking about earlier, there's not that many locally owned restaurants that are still in business, and that's sad. Because that's what I try to support, the locally owned businesses. I love them, and I want people to succeed and be here. And we've been blessed that we have succeeded this long. And even though through the pandemic, when we were closed for 2 months, we still survived. So we've been truly blessed. I thank God for everything, and all my employees and all the customers.